I'm becoming a little bit obsessed with this idea of what success is. In the education system, there's a view that is held so deeply. The problem is, it's a subconscious view, and it can affect you for the entirety of your life, and it's to do with success and how we view it. I've just kicked about 30 or 40 footballs at a crossbar, and I hit it one time. Is that success, or is that failure? So I really need to talk to you about this idea of success, but I need to change first because, you know, work clothes. Whoop. Hello, let's talk about success. We're downstairs now, sorry, because I got to work out while I'm doing this, but first, a social experiment, and I want you to answer this as quickly as you can without thinking. No thought process must go into this. I want you to answer this question. Are you ready? What is the opposite of success? So if you're like the majority of people I've spoken to about this, and me by the way, I'm guessing that your initial, immediate response, the subconscious one, was failure. And I know that given time, we'd have probably all come up with a better answer, something like apathy or not trying. But what fascinates me is why it's seen as the opposite to success, and why there's such a negative emotion attached to it. I mean, in the most literal sense of the word, I guess that failure is the opposite of success, because if you don't succeed in a task, like something like a driving test, then you could be said to fail at it. But if we even scratch the surface on that, like if we move away from the absolute literal, I think like we all know that failure is absolutely necessary, like we have to do it. How do we learn? Do you think a baby gives up because it can't walk immediately? Did James Dyson quit after 2,000 prototypes? Did Edison quit after 900 attempts at the light bulb? I even asked this question on social media platforms, and oh, hello. And the answers were so, like, really genuinely interesting and very diverse, but what I also realised was that they weren't the subconscious answers, they were the conscious answers, ones that had thought given to them, in the majority anyway. I realised the situation wasn't pressured enough to get the immediate, genuine and subconscious reaction that I was looking for. So I started asking people face to face, where I could actually see that their responses were genuine and immediate, and I could put a little bit of pressure on them. And the responses were far more like I would have expected, and far more like I thought as well myself. It was failure, 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 failure. But what that doesn't answer, and what's frustrating me, is why do we think that deep down? Why is there such a negative emotion attached to the word? Please bear in mind that this vlog is meant as a conversation starter. There's no way I'm saying I'm right. In fact, Mary will tell you that I'm almost never right. But I think it might be something to do with the education system in the UK or around the world. So we take tests because the government tells us we need to give tests and we need to prove pupil progress. We take GCSEs so that we can make a choice about a job or sixth form. We take A-levels to inform our choices about university or jobs. We get a degree because that might inform the type of job we get. And all the way along that, if we don't get what we want, if we don't succeed, we do chalk it down to a failure. But the reality is that there's very little evidence that academic attainment is linked to success. Success is linked to things like grit, intrinsic motivation, work ethic. I had to finish the workout. But I do know this. Success to me is entirely personal. You can't tell someone else if they're successful or not. A refuse collector that loves their job, that gets up every morning and really feels like they're making a difference, is successful. Or if you flip that and you have a multi-millionaire who somewhere down the line feels like they sold out to make a buck, I don't think that is successful. So success is how we personally define it. But what I do know is that we have to try and find some way of removing that negative emotion to the word failure, because we all know that failure is a crucial part of eventual success.
It's just, how do we do it? I don't even know where this vlog is going, but it is something that's bugged me for a long time, and I would appreciate your input, because I think together we might be able to crack this. Can you see this dog is just licking my hand? The reason I'm on this journey is to give back to people and hopefully learn a little bit on the way. So from me and from Wim Wim, we'll see you next time.